What happens when opportunity meets desperation? When a hometown kid with elite size and skill is sitting on a struggling team's trade block, and your own roster is screaming for secondary scoring. Do you pull the trigger on a sentimental move, or do you stay disciplined and wait for the perfect deal? Welcome back, folks. It's Monday, January 5th, 2026, and the Montreal Canadiens' search for offensive reinforcements just got a whole lot more interesting. According to a report from Michael DeRosa at the Hockey News and Yahoo Sports, there's a name emerging as a potential trade target that's going to make every Habs fan either jump for joy or shake their head in frustration. Anthony Mantha, 6'5", born in Longueuil, Quebec, currently stuck on a Pittsburgh Penguins team that's openly admitting they're sellers at the deadline, and he's being described as an intriguing target for the Montreal Canadiens. Let me tell you why this story is so fascinating and why it perfectly encapsulates the kind of gamble Kent Hughes might be willing to take right now. The Canadiens are in third place in the Atlantic Division. They're winning games. They're exceeding expectations. But there's a problem, and it's becoming more obvious with every game. They need secondary scoring. With Alex Newhook out until March or April, and Kirby Dach still working his way back from injury, Montreal's forward depth has been exposed. They need someone who can put the puck in the net, someone who can play in the top six, someone who can create offense when the stars are being shut down. Enter Anthony Mantha. And here's where this gets complicated, because Mantha has always been one of the most polarizing players in the NHL. The talent is undeniable. 6'5", over 200 pounds, a cannon of a shot, the ability to use his size to create space and dominate physically. When he's engaged, when he's motivated, when everything clicks, he looks like a legitimate top-line power forward. But consistency? That's been the issue his entire career. There are stretches where Mantha looks unstoppable, and then there are stretches where he disappears completely. He's the kind of player who drives coaches crazy because you know what he's capable of, but you're never quite sure which version is going to show up on any given night. So, why would Montreal be interested? Because the risk-reward calculation makes sense right now. The Penguins are sellers. They're cleaning house, preparing for a rebuild or retool. They've already moved Tristan Jarry and Sam Poulin to Edmonton. Mantha is clearly available, and he's not going to cost a fortune in assets. For Kent Hughes, this is exactly the kind of move that fits his philosophy. Buy low on talented players who might be underperforming or undervalued. Give them a change of scenery, a fresh start, a chance to rediscover their game. We've seen it work with Patrick Lane. We've seen it work with Sean Monahan. Could it work with Anthony Mantha? And then there's the hometown angle. Mantha is from Longueuil, right across the river from Montreal. He grew up watching the Canadiens. He knows what it means to wear that jersey. The narrative is perfect. The local kid coming home to help his hometown team make a playoff push. It's the kind of story that writes itself, the kind of move that gets fans excited and creates buzz around the organization. But let's be realistic about what Mantha brings and what he doesn't. He's not a game breaker. He's not going to be your number one scorer. But on a team that needs secondary offense, he could be exactly what the doctor ordered. Imagine him on a line with Phillip Danault, using his size to create space, finishing plays with that heavy shot. Or picture him on Nick Suzuki's wing, giving Suzuki a big body to work with in the offensive zone. The physical presence alone would be valuable. Montreal is a skilled team, but they could use more size and grit in the top six. Mantha provides that. He can go to the net. He can win battles along the boards. He can make life difficult for opposing defensemen. And here's the beautiful part. If it doesn't work out, so what? Mantha's contract expires at the end of the season. It's a pure rental. If he comes to Montreal and doesn't produce, you let him walk in free agency, and you've only lost a mid-round draft pick. But if he does produce, if the change of scenery and the hometown motivation unlocks something in his game, then you just added a legitimate scoring threat for a playoff run without giving up significant assets. Now, the report also mentions another name, Raquel. And this is where things get interesting, because Raquel represents a completely different type of acquisition. He's a proven 30-goal scorer. He's versatile, able to play both wings. He's under contract beyond this season. He's the safer, more reliable option. But here's the problem. Kyle Dubas, the Penguins' general manager, wants a significant return for Raquel. High draft picks, top prospects, the kind of assets that Kent Hughes has been very careful about protecting during this rebuild. And this is where Hughes has to make a decision. Does he pay the premium price for the safe, proven commodity in Raquel, or does he take the low-cost gamble on Mantha, betting that a change of scenery and hometown pride will bring out the best in a talented but inconsistent player? Based on everything we've seen from Hughes so far, I think we know which direction he's leaning. He's not the type of GM who overpays for rentals. He's not going to get his prospect pool or trade away high picks for a player who might only be here for a few months. That's not his style. But a third or fourth round pick for Anthony Mantha, that's a calculated risk he might be willing to take. It's the kind of move that fits perfectly with his buy low philosophy. It addresses an immediate need without compromising the long-term plan. And let's talk about what this would mean for Pittsburgh. The Penguins are clearly in transition. The Sidney Crosby era is winding down. They're preparing for life after their core retires. Moving veterans like Mantha and potentially Raquel makes sense for them. They need to accumulate picks and prospects, reset the roster, and build for future. For Montreal, this is an opportunity. Pittsburgh is motivated to move these players. They're not going to hold out for massive returns. They just want to clear cap space and get younger. That's the perfect situation for a buyer like the Canadiens, who can swoop in and acquire talent without paying top dollar. So what's the play here? If I'm Kent Hughes, I'm absolutely making the call on Mantha. The upside is too good to ignore. A 6'5" power forward from Quebec, playing for his hometown team, motivated to prove he can still be an impact player. That's a story that could energize the entire organization. And if it doesn't work, if Mantha comes to Montreal and continues to be inconsistent, then you've lost a mid-round pick and you move on. No long-term commitment, no cap problems, just a low-risk gamble that didn't pay off. But imagine if it does work. Imagine Mantha scoring 20 goals down the stretch, using his size to dominate in the playoffs, becoming a fan favorite at the Bell Center. That's the kind of move that can define a season, that can turn a good team into a great one. The Canadiens need another forward. That's not up for debate. With the injuries piling up and the playoff race tightening, they need to add depth and scoring. The question is whether they're willing to take a chance on a talented but inconsistent player like Mantha, or whether they'll pay the premium for a safer option like Raquel. My money is on Mantha. The price is right. The fit makes sense. And the hometown narrative is too good to pass up. Kent Hughes has shown he's willing to take calculated risks on players who need a fresh start. This feels like the next one. Pittsburgh is selling. Montreal is buying. And Anthony Mantha might be about to get the chance he's been waiting for his entire career, to play for his hometown team, to prove he could be a difference maker, to write the comeback story that every Quebec kid dreams about. What do you think? Should the Canadiens go after Anthony Mantha and take the low-cost gamble? Or should they pay up for the safer option and Raquel? Would you rather see Montreal make a splash with a big-name acquisition or stick with a smart, calculated approach that's gotten them this far? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. And don't forget to hit that like button because the trade deadline is heating up and we're going to be covering every rumor, every move, and every twist as it happens.